There's been more bad news for the car manufacturer Volkswagen. It announced today that it has set aside even more money to cover the costs of the diesel emissions scandal. The news comes as German prosecutors have made an arrest in relation to the scandal. Well, we're joined now by our reporter Sebastian Chrispin. Tell us more about what's happened today and why it's significant.
Well, there have been a couple of developments in relation to this story over the last day or so. One of them is that the company, as you say, has set aside even more money, the other being this arrest. Now, the reason why I think it's important is it just raises a question about when is VW finally going to be able to put this case behind it. We're 2 years on from when news of this scandal broke, and the company is still setting aside large pots of money to cover fresh costs. That makes it very difficult for the company to move forward. We know, for example, that VW wants to invest in things like electric cars, but if it's having to set aside large chunks of its profits to cover the mistakes of the past, how can it think about the future? And then eventually I think some people are going to start asking about the management of the company and how well VW is being run. The news today about the extra money being set aside, that came as a bit of a surprise. Not many people saw it coming, and at one point we saw the share price fall about 3%. The share price then did recover most of those losses, but it does raise questions about how well the company's being run.
What do we know about the person who's been arrested?
Well, the only knowledge we have about this is confirmation from German prosecutors that they have made an arrest in relation to the VW investigation. They haven't confirmed the identity of the person, they haven't confirmed whether any charges have been made. Now, German media have speculated that he was formerly quite a senior executive within the VW group. So that could raise questions about how senior management, past and present, knew about this scandal. But I think what's really interesting here is this is the first arrest that German prosecutors have made in relation to their own investigation. In the US, for example, we've seen lots of people charged, one person jailed, and in Germany they have made an arrest, but that was in relation to the US investigation. Now we're seeing German authorities making an arrest in relation to their own investigation, so that could mean that the company's facing pressure from more sides.
So is this a sign of progress and that eventually this scandal will ebb away? Is that end in sight?
I think it's a little bit too early to start talking about the end being in sight, and the fact that the company is still having to set aside fresh pots of money to cover the cost of that mean that it's still too early to say whether that's going anywhere soon. Now, the company is trying to make efforts to build bridges with its customers. So in the UK, for example, the company makes no acknowledgement of any wrongdoing here. The only wrongdoing it acknowledges is in relation to North America. But here it is offering to recall cars, it's offering to fix cars. There are questions about whether that fixes itself, causing further problems. But the company is trying to move forward by taking these sorts of steps.
Sebastian, thank you very much.